What's up, my middle bros? Pretty Maniac here for Week 15 NFL game picks. Let's get into this one. I struggled with some of them, and I was kind of flip-floppy on quite a few of them, honestly. Chargers, Chiefs. I was a little flip-floppy on this. I ended up choosing the Chiefs. I think their offense is a little bit high-powered, and the final decision here came down to possibly Melvin Gordon and Austin Eckler being out for the Chargers. Now, I know Jackson is a capable fill-in, but I believe that's going to give the edge to the Chiefs, so I'm going to go Chiefs at the home in this one. Good game for Thursday Night Football tonight. Then you have the Browns, Broncos. I was kind of stuck here, but I'm going to go Browns here. I think the lack of receiver with Emmanuel Sanders, I believe, still being out this week, and Cortland Sutton popping up on the injury report, I think that's going to affect the Broncos' chances. If the Broncos are to win this one, they're going to have to do it with the ground and pound game, and against the Browns' defensive line, that might not be necessarily easy. And it's going to be kind of strength v strength lately. I believe as of late, the Browns have allowed the least pressures over the last few, or least quarterback hits over the last few weeks. Going up against Von Miller and Chubb, that should be interesting for sure. We have our first Chubb v. Chubb matchup with Nick Chubb versus, obviously, Denver Broncos Chubb. But I'm going to take the Browns in this one. They've been kind of on fire lately, and unbelievably, they're still alive for the playoffs. And then you have the Texans at the Jets. I'm taking the Texans here. The Jets are a hot mess with their quarterback situation. Sam Darnold's in, then he's out, then he's hurt, then he's not, then he's in, then he's out, and it's just inconsistency, and I hate inconsistency. I think the Texans bounce back after a tough loss last week. They have the Packers at the Bears. I think the Bears' defense is possibly the strongest in the NFL. I think it's going to be too much for the Packers to overcome. Packers obviously capable of beating the Bears. They did last time these two teams faced off. But there's something about this Bears team. I think they could very well contend for a bye week if the Saints slip up against the Panthers in the upcoming weeks. And then you have the Lions at the Bills. We have the Lions winning this one. I like Matthew Stafford. I like Kerryon Johnson if he's playing. I just don't think the Bills have enough weapons. Their best weapon is the quarterback's legs, which is never necessarily the greatest thing. Defensively, the Bills could win this defensively if they can limit Stafford, get some points on the defense, create some turnovers. Could be an easy win for the Bills. But if their offense can't score, it's going to be really hard. That's why I'm picking the Lions. You know, the Buccaneers at the Ravens. I'm picking the Ravens here. They do have one of the best defenses in the league. Held the Chiefs in check for most part last game. And Lamar Jackson's getting better. Probably Joe Flacco is going to be starting this one, so it should be interesting. I think Joe Flacco incorporates wide receivers a little bit better in the game plan. Lamar Jackson incorporates a little bit more surprise better. They both have their positives and negatives. But I think in the end, it's the Ravens defense that carries them to victory here. And then you have the Cardinals at the Falcons. I'm picking the Falcons here, even though the Falcons only have 4 wins. If the Cardinals beat the Falcons, I believe that would give Cardinals a tiebreaker, which would give the Falcons a better draft position than the Cardinals, which would be kind of funny. But I gotta pick the Falcons. Too many weapons on offense. Cardinals have a lot of weapons on defense as well, with David Johnson and shit on offense. So it should be very interesting. It's gonna be about who can be more consistent, Josh Rosen or the Falcons defense. And I trust the Falcons defense a little bit more right now. Then you got the Raiders at the Bengals. I'm picking the Raiders here. I have no confidence in the Bengals whatsoever with their current quarterback situation. Win with no AJ Green, and their defense is banged up and bad. I think the Raiders steal this one. And it's kind of funny that the Raiders, if they win this one, would actually might drop themselves out of the top 5 in the draft, which would be very interesting. The Titans at the Giants. As hot as the Giants have been, I'm picking the Titans in this one. Titans have a good run game. Their passing game needs a little bit of work, but it's still pretty solid. Their defense is pretty solid as well. Going up against a team as inconsistent as the Giants, even with Saquon Barkley, I think this will be a close game, mind you. I don't think it's going to be heavily favored Tennessee Titans. I'm just picking the Titans because I believe in their defense a little bit more. I think it could limit the Giants' offense. And I think it'll honestly probably be like a 27-24 game in the end. But I think the Titans take this with a late turnover. Then you have the Dolphins at the Vikings. I'm picking the Vikings at home here. I should realistically stop picking the Vikings. They are terrible, but they're at home, and Kirk Cousins plays a lot better at home for some reason. I apologize. Then you have the Redskins, Jaguars, picking the Jaguars at home because of all the injuries to the Redskins. Their current quarterback situation is possibly the worst I have seen in a long time, and I'm talking worse than the Jaguars themselves. Then you have the Cowboys, the Colts. There's no way I could pick against the Cowboys right now. They are too hot. Colts can pull off the upset. I would give them a 40% chance, and I know that's a little bit high, but the Colts defense I think is super solid. Andrew Luck's having a really good season, but I think the Cowboys are a little bit better overall. Amari Cooper has opened up that offense, like I keep saying, and it just looks really, really solid. And then the last four games, we have the Seahawks at the 49ers. Picking the Seahawks here. 49ers came out with an impressive win last week over the Broncos. But I'm picking the Seahawks on the road here. Mainly because Russell Wilson has been pulling out some stuff that reminded me of back when he was in his first couple years. And the defense has been stringing together a lot of solid plays. And I love it. I think this team is going to be one of the underrated postseason teams this year. But a win definitely here does a great deal in solidifying their postseason spot. And then you have the Patriots at the Steelers. I struggled with this one very, very mightily. Both defenses have struggled as of late. Both secondaries are not performing up to snuff, I should say. New England has a decent secondary, but you're going up against Juju Smith-Schuster and Antonio Brown. You need better than decent right now. And it's very interesting because it's obviously strength the weakness for both teams. Obviously, both teams' strengths are probably the offense, the passing game, and then you have it against the pass defense of the other team. So it's kind of funny to see how this goes. I think this could be a very high-scoring game. I'm thinking 38 to 34, something like that. I think the difference here is the whole running back situation for the Steelers. If James Conner doesn't play, I think it's going to be a little bit too much to ask of Big Ben in the passing game to constantly be putting up the points. I know the Miami Dolphins just did it, but there's something about the Steelers. They struggle against the Patriots, and something about that. If James Conner plays, Steelers could very well upset the. Well, I'm not even sure if you can. Well, I'm not even sure if you can call it an upset. If James Conner plays, the Steelers are very capable of beating the Patriots. But I'm going to pick the Patriots just because of the uncertainty of if James Conner will play or not. Then you have the Eagles at the Rams. I'm picking the Rams at home here. Not much more to say than the Eagles fucking suck right now. And you have the Saints at the Panthers. I'm picking the Saints at home. Panthers have been playing like absolute doo-doo. And if they somehow bounce back against the best team in their division, that would be a very, very sad thing. Hey guys, thank you for watching. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, subscribe if you are new. I'll see you in the next week. Have a good day. Peace.